I feel like we should do like a unison intro where I go like, "Welcome to the trans," and then you say "fat," and then I say "experience."
I think that is
That would go
dumb.
pretty hard. Like we should no, we need to come up with like a Team Rocket motto for the trans fat experience. Like what are we protecting the world from?
I don't know.
To protect the world from retardation. I don't know. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Yeah, we gotta work harder on this.
Hello, everybody. I don't. Should I keep that in? I don't know.
Yes, you
Okay, okay,
100% should keep
okay.
that
I'll
in.
keep that. I'll keep that in. I'm sorry, everybody, for saying a slur. Um, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Trans Fat Experience. I am your host, Demigloom, the Trans, joined as always by Riley. Wait, no, shit.
Hey,
I
everybody.
fucked it up. Hi, it's Riley. Riley is fat, and I'm trans, and this
Yeah,
is the
Riley
Trans
the
Fat
Fat.
Experience. The
Yes,
fat and the trans.
that is
What's
the
it
that's the
like?
show.
What's it like being a fat?
It sucks. It's harder to exist in many ways.
And
You
you know
just
what?
take.
I think there's a lot more in common between these two groups than people realize because
That's true.
that's exactly what I would say
Oh
about
my
being a
god,
trans.
it's
It's harder to
crazy.
exist in lots of ways.
Man, I hate taking up space. That's the worst part of being fat is that like most fat people will just do this to people and they won't care and they'll just be like you have to accept me because of body positivity and whatever. I am fat, so there's no way to avoid it, but I feel like such a fucking piece of shit when I'm like have to sit next to people under any context and it invading their personal space so
I don't
deeply.
know, man. Like, who cares? You're not
I
invading
just
them. Okay, in what situation are you invading someone's personal space?
Well, I mean, sometimes if like on a bus or a plane or like other situations where I have to sit next to somebody, like they'll sit next to me and like my body will be touching theirs, and I will feel like I've committed a war crime and that I should be executed.
See, you shouldn't feel that way. You could feel like, oh, this sucks. That you know what I mean? Like this is an unfortunate situation, but like I don't think you should blame yourself. I mean, blame the fucking culture that you grew up in. I mean, we live in a world where we are born into a world where we're taught that like literal poison that makes you morbidly obese is food, and then you eat that from a very young age. You've been chunky since you were a little kid, man. Like
Oh yeah,
how could you place that quote unquote moral burden on yourself when in reality it's we say like there's the reason that there's an age of consent is because children cannot consent to the long term experiencing the long term ramifications of you know what. And I think
we
consent
need an
should
age of fast food consent.
yeah, an age of fast food consent. Like you should be put on some kind of registry for feeding fast food to a minor, I think. Because a minor doesn't have the not emotional, cognitive capability to consent to the long-term ramifications of regularly eating fast food.
I'm
So I
trying to
think
think
there
of
should be an
something
age
that
of
rhymes with
consent for
fat that has
unhealthy
something to do
food.
with fast food. God damn it! There has to be something. There has to be something there. I'm trying to the blank offender registry. I'm trying to make that joke happen, and it's not coming to me. And I know there's something there.
Oh, man. The what's like a word for is there a word for like making someone fat? I don't know.
The stretch
Someone
offender
a stretch
registry,
offender? What? It doesn't even make sense.
because it's like stretch marks when you're fat.
I guess. But there's
That's the
something
best.
better.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
I'm sure there's a better idea, and anybody but Redux can comment it below because I know Redux is gonna not have a better. Redux can't do better than Stretch Offender. Anyone else probably can. Shout out to the people who are actually watching this show. By the way, I was after the Turning Point GSA hiatus, with after like as if it's not still actively a thing. I'm surprised people are still watching anything on this channel. So thank you guys. Thank you viewers for watching. Theta
I
May,
hope
Sawyer, we see you. We see your comments.
you guys are out there. Shout
You guys are
out.
out there. Shout out to you. This one goes out to you.
we're gonna reach the point where it's gonna seem like a personal slight to me that this channel is not called the Trans Fan Experience because it's gonna be like one Turning Point GSA and like nine Trans Fan Experience.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
yeah. It'll come back. In what form? I'm not sure, but it'll come back. It's just like not. The world doesn't really need Turning Point GSA right now.
I feel like maybe the world needs Turning Point GSA more than ever, actually.
Well, isn't it like the responsibility of a hero to not show up when the
Maybe the
world needs
world
him most?
I guess maybe the world needs middle school GSA the most. I guess Turning Point GSA is kind of not
So
as
the problem is Squeebo?
well, no, because you guys are going for more of like a comedy political hybrid, whereas middle school GSA was very like informative. Like you guys made jokes, but
A
it was
friendship,
very
a friendship ending,
informative and political first.
it was near friendship ending queer infighting. Is what it was. Is what middle school GSA was. It was great.
Yeah.
It was as entertaining as that could possibly be. But it was. I mean,
Well, that's what it turned into. But there was a time where middle school GSA was like this informative political show. Like Redox has credited it with his current politics, and like I've seen
yeah, that's
people
true.
like be affected by middle school GSA politically. So that, but I obviously respect comedy way more than politics anyway. So shout
Of
out to
course, of
Turning Point
course.
GSA, way better.
See, I respect politics more than comedy, but I enjoy comedy more than politics at this point in my life.
True, very
And
true.
I feel like at this point we live in such a dystopian hellscape, you know what I mean? That it's just like what the fuck can I say anymore, you know? Like what am I going to say on a podcast that's what can I do better than just make people laugh during all of this? Make people smile.
That's fair.
At
It's
this
like
point, you know what I mean? And if I see a situation where I feel like I can add meaningful commentary that you're not going to hear from everyone else on the fucking planet, from stand-up comedians to Miss Rachel, like I don't feel like my voice is you know what I mean? Like I feel like my political knowledge, like people are always asking me like, "Oh, people tell me like you know so much about politics," but it's really kind of just a delusion an illusion that I create by talking extensively about things that I understand and things that I know. You know what I mean? I talk about what I know about politics, and when it comes to that stuff, I can have a pretty excuse me, convincingly intelligent conversation with somebody about it. But at the end of the day, I don't really know much more than the average person. Like my what I know about is like the queer issues and the trans stuff, and I've pretty much said like with middle school GSA and Turning Point GSA, I've pretty much put everything out there that I could in terms of my what I have to say about the trans experience, and more will come absolutely. But I'm kind of like I'm running low on that. Running low on that.
yeah, I mean, I guess you do a shtick for so long, right? You run out of material.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, a time will come. I have a pretty cool scripted thing coming out that has nothing to do with politics. That'll be fun.
Oh, I've heard that one before.
It's not going to be like a long video essay. It's just going to be like a fun like discussion video about something I'm passionate about, which is like much easier for me to execute than like me trying to give the most like tasteful political commentary. And also, my sense of humor doesn't go like my sense of humor doesn't go well with politics. I'm starting to learn. Like Turning Point GSA or middle school GSA, I'm not like the jokes and stuff that I make are not that funny on there. I notice I'm much funnier when I'm just talking about like shit that I'm interested in or things that I love to hate, like fun stuff like that. So I'm kind of focusing on that right now. I'm trying to be more personality driven than opinion driven, And honestly, I don't want to be a bread tuber, man. Like a good friend of mine
We're never
recently
gonna
told
get the
me,
bread tuber Demigloom. I've been waiting for that. We need the prophecy to be fulfilled
it's
someday.
like, what am I gonna
Uh,
do? And also, there's a like, what bread tuber has a good reputation? All right,
that's also
does
true. That's
does being a
fair.
what has being a bread tuber done for the bread tuber? You know
Every
what I mean?
breadtuber I can think of does have a horrific reputation now,
Yeah.
so
I mean, shit, and I got skeletons in my closet too. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. I don't think I've done anything nearly as bad as like, fuck it, I'll name drop Vosh, Keffels, Hassan. Like, I don't think I'm on that level, but like that
I
sort of
was waiting for you to
community,
say Riley.
Riley, yeah. I don't think I'm, I don't think I'm that bad, but like at the same time, it's like that's a community that will 100% find any dirt they can against you and
That's
just
true.
fucking drag your name through the mud, whether it's true or not. Like bread tubers are also like the some of the most it's bread tubers and commentary YouTubers, and those communities are colliding, like basically just like the political slash drama sphere on YouTube is like the place for claims with dubious evidence
Chud
to end
Logic
your
is like
career.
the bridge between the two, right? He's like the perfect middle ground who
I don't know much about Chud Logic. I just know people don't like him. All the
Yeah, he's just I know that everybody hates him, and I also know that he's like a commentary guy, but he does a lot of like left politics on his streams. So and he talks to a lot of bread tubers, it seems like. So Chud Logic is like the bridge between the two.
you think
And he
Destiny and Nick
sucks.
Fuentes
Shitty bridge.
do you think Destiny and Nick Fuentes fucked?
Yes.
I in my brain, which is my brain is not a valid source, okay? So don't quote me on this in your like college thesis or anything. But in my brain there's like a 50-50 shot that Destiny and Nick Fuentes had sex. The fact that Destiny kind of tried to hide that what happened leads me to think that there's something more going on than him sucking a dick, because he's very open about being bisexual and being a switch and all that. Like Destiny has no shame around that, but the fact that he tried to just the vibes around it. And for those of you who don't know,
Guys, I'm
Destiny,
here to announce that me and Nick Fuentes have been secretly married for the past 2 years. We've hid it
true.
from the public.
Do you see Nick Fuentes? Did you see that like Nazi party that happened recently? Like Nick
No, there was a
Fuentes,
Nazi party.
Nico, one of the whatever, not whatever. I think it was one of the whatever podcast guys.
Fucking the
Andrew.
whatever
Oh, and Andrew
podcast.
Tate was there. It was like this huge. Everybody was tweeting it. They're like, "This looks like a scene out of a Quentin Tarantino movie," and it's just them like, it's like all of those like iconic far right people with uh, sexual misconduct allegations, just like epically walking down a street. It's just funny, man. Like I feel this weird. I'm totally gonna get canceled for this, but I feel this weird like. So I don't like the Republican guys. Okay, I don't like Ben
Okay.
Shapiro. I don't like
Okay.
Michael Knowles, Matt Walsh, Nick
Uh-huh.
Fuentes. I don't like them, but like I'm kind of really entertained by them. Like, and I kind of have an infatuation with them. Like they're the bad guys in a movie, you know. Like
Yeah.
they're good villains. Like if this was a movie, like they're good villains.
Michael
They're
Knowles is like
they're
a
good
real life
comical
Disney
villains.
villain. He's got
Yeah,
the charisma. He's fucking that he could be trying
motherfucker smiles like Jim Carrey.
to bro could be trying to kidnap a princess, and I'd fully understand. It'd be
Michael
far for the
Knowles
course.
Michael Knowles sits there with his olive skin and his slick back hair and his Cuban cigars. He thinks he looks like a mob boss, but he's literally just like a Disney villain. You're like right on the nose with that one.
He's the
But they're
fucking
like
one
they're
player.
good villains, man. I watch
I
them
know
all the
he's not
time.
Disney.
I have an ad blocker, so they don't get any of my fucking money. But I mean, I watch those motherfuckers. Like I was excited to debate Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles. Dare I say, a weird like. I don't want to say starstruck, because starstruck implies that you like them, but like a similar feeling to that, like a feeling of adrenaline. Like, I've been watching these people for years. Like they're the villains. Like it's like you got I don't know. It's like I met Darth Vader in real life. Like it'd be like, holy shit,
Yeah,
dude, it's Darth Vader. It's like, yeah, I know he like chokes people to death, and like didn't he like beat up Padme when she was pregnant? He like hurt Padme physically at one point. I don't remember.
yeah. I think when he
Watched
was
the
turning to
prequels
the
in a long
dark
time.
side or
It was
whatever.
turning to the dark side, yeah. It's just like I don't know. It's like, if I met Darth Vader, I wouldn't be like yo, that's cool what you did, but I'd be like, holy shit, I'm meeting Darth Vader in real life, you know? I
It's
don't know.
weird
Is
that
that
I've
horrible to
like
say?
no, no. I mean, I just say that I pretty much like these people unironically, so I'm gonna get canceled more than you're
You
getting
don't,
canceled.
okay,
Although,
you
not the
don't like
Daily
them.
Wire people. No, they suck. I feel like I've almost like skipped. I went a generation back on my right wingers somehow. Like I'm listening to fucking like Anthony Cumia and Gavin McInnes, who haven't been relevant
Yeah.
in 20 years.
Gavin McGinnis, who's like directly responsible for like probably like an amount of synagogue shootings you can't count on your hands. Like
It's all my
shit is
fault,
wild, man.
guys.
The internet is crazy, dude. Like they predicted this in media, you know, like there would be a bunch of people on TV who were just like monstrously evil, and then people would just be entertained by them. Like you know, like it's real. It's happening right now, and they're pretty funny sometimes. You know, there's a reason they have followings. They're charming. They're interesting. They're funny. But I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah,
I can't say a lot of nice things about them.
I'll never forget the time that Gavin McGinnis absolutely destroyed Woody from PKA. It was one of the funniest things I've ever heard on a podcast. He was just so dismissive towards Woody's intellect. It was very funny.
Well, another thing too is when like people think that just because they're on the right side of politics that immediately means that they can destroy somebody on the wrong side in a debate. Like the dumbest liberal thinks he can win a debate with the smartest conservative because liberals are right and conservatives are wrong, and that's just not how it works. There's so many things that go into that. In fact, I think a lot of liberals have less of a logical foundation than conservatives do. You know, it's important to really understand what you're talking about. Like that's why I went to Ben Shapiro with a very specific question. Ben Shapiro 100% knows more about like economic policy than I do. You know what I mean? He would absolutely destroy me in a debate. Um, I don't think he's more right about economic policy than I am, but you know, he's more well researched. He knows his talking points, and you know, obviously, he's a much more skilled debater, and he has media training and all of that stuff. Talk about what you really know about in a debate. Don't go into like people are probably telling me like, yeah, duh, but like I see a lot of people on the left go into debates with conservatives about shit that they don't know anything about, and it's pretty. It makes us look really bad.
Yeah, no,
But another. Sorry, go on.
you have to know what you're debating to do a debate. I don't want to go into the topics, but just the broad strokes of this is funny. I got into a debate once where fucking everyone who was watching the debate was fully against me. I was way on the wrong side, but the guy showed up and like literally could not form a sentence, and everybody said I won the debate. It was
Yeah, and you know,
great.
people who appreciate debate can are willing to admit, and that's you know, people will watch a debate like with the Michael Knowles thing too. I kind of debated Michael Knowles twice. For you who don't know, go to my main channel on YouTube, Demigloom, or just look up Demigloom Michael Knowles if you want to give Michael Knowles money. Or not Demigloom, Michael Knowles trans. Just look up Michael Knowles trans, and you'll find my
Michael
debates. But
Knowles
me and
trans.
Felonious Ferris had like a sit down conversation for it was like something like 30 minutes long.
That is
Um,
so legendary. That is the
it was
craziest thing
legendary.
that's ever happened.
It was, and we did really good. But there was another debate I had with Michael Knowles where basically I just called him gay. And I was like stumbling over my words because he had a pretty good rebuttal. And I was just like baffled because he like lied, you know. And I told, long story short, my first debate with Michael Knowles, I lost 100%. But my whole audience was telling me like, dude, you totally destroyed Michael Knowles. You won that debate. And I'm just like, not really. Like you could admit that I was right, but I didn't argue correctly. You know, I was right, but Michael Knowles had a better rebuttal.
Yeah,
Um,
Michael was ready and he delivered a cohesive argument, unlike Ben Shapiro, who I think his argument was completely retarded and you destroyed him.
Felonious Ferris, however, I'll say absolutely destroyed Michael Knowles in the argument. I don't know if you saw their debate with Michael. They did they
I
did
mean, I feel like the impact was unfortunately slightly diminished by the fact that they called him the wrong name because that's what everybody
no, that's
remembers from
legendary.
that
That's
scene.
legendary. That was legendary. It was legendary, but their actual argument was really good about withholding resources like life saving organs and cutting the umbilical cord. Like go look up Felonious Ferris's YouTube channel. Just look up Felonious Ferris. The only video on the channel is their debate with Michael Knowles. Fucking legendary. They did much better than me. But I am proud of my Ben Shapiro debate. I think I absolutely won. And there was literally like I was so proud because there was this like literal like philosophy college professor who reacted to my debate on a live stream, and he was just like, yeah, Ben's like absolutely getting demolished logically here. He's refusing to engage with the actual point and just repeating right-wing talking points for a bunch of claps and cheers. Like, I 100% think I destroyed Ben Shapiro in that debate. And honestly, I'm a lot more proud to have destroyed Ben Shapiro than I am ashamed to have lost a debate with Michael Knowles. Because who gives a shit about Michael Knowles? Let's be honest.
We got to find you your next guy to debate.
I think we both know that there's not a lot of conservatives speaking on
Oh
college
yeah,
campuses right
that's
now.
true. That's true.
No,
Well,
when
no,
I
because
went
they
to,
all like didn't that same tour keep going, and they got all the like right wing all stars to fill in for him.
I don't know,
They
man.
got the Super Smash Bros of the right to come in and finish Charlie Kirk's tour.
All I know is that nobody's come in my state since then. I could have debated like Scott Walker, the former Republican governor of my state, who's like a total like universally hated by everyone, even Republicans. Like I don't know if you know who Scott Walker is, but he ran for president in 2016 and he got like absolutely demolished by Trump. And he came to speak on my I say my college campus. I'm not a college student, but you know, like the college campus in my city. He came to speak on campus, and everybody in the crowd was wearing MAGA hats. And like I low key felt bad for Scott Walker, even though he's like the biggest union buster and the worst resource and funds allocator that the state has ever seen. Because like Trump literally called him like ugly and stupid in the debate, and now he has to go speak at all these events, and everybody's wearing MAGA hats. They're all
What a
pussies
fate.
though. Trump was literally like, Ted Cruz's wife is ugly. How can you run for president when your
How could
wife
you
is
say that about
hideous?
Mo?
I know. Trump said it, not me. And then Ted Cruz was like, "I endorse Donald Trump. I think he will be a great president." You know, it's like, what a fucking coward. I don't know. But yeah, if anyone comes to my campus, oh, and the Scott Walker thing wasn't being filmed, so I'm like, why would I even do this? It's not even going to be recorded, and nobody even gives a shit about Scott Walker.
You reminded me. I've never heard of Scott Walker, but the name Scott reminded me. Did you hear about we lost a notable hero in the racist community this week?
Scott the Waz,
No. He's still kicking around that
Scott
racist
Cawthon.
fuck. Uh, no, he's fine. Scott Adams, creator of Dilbert, passed
Oh yeah,
away.
yeah, I heard about that. I don't. What is Dilbert? Is it a book?
He- it's a
Is it a comic
comic.
strip?
It's like like Garfield or Peanuts. It's a comic strip.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
about it's about how working in an office sucks.
It's like a newspaper comic, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I remember seeing that and being like, "This sucks. Where's Garfield?"
No, but like Dilbert is pretty good, but it's like he, he's one of those guys who like his greatest creation is his greatest regret, and he wants everybody to see all the other cool shit he made, and he
Yeah.
doesn't care about Dilbert. So like I remember people in his final like death post, he like
What
he
is a
like
death
talks
post?
he posted like a last words post
Was he
to
like
be scheduled
dying
before
in
he
a
yeah,
hospital
he was
or?
he was in
Oh, okay.
hospice dying of cancer, and he wrote a final message. And he like extensively talks about like his books and his podcast, and he like nonchalantly brings up Dilbert once. Like it's not even like a point being made. It was just like he was telling his life story, and he was like, "Yeah, this thing happened, and I was doing this. Obviously, I was still making Dilbert comics, but also I started my podcast." And that's the only time Dilbert's mentioned in the whole thing.
That's crazy. So wait, so what did he do that was racist? I don't doubt that he was. It's just like I don't know.
He just like he was like he was very into like the sort of like crime statistics, like very
Oh
classic
God.
racism, very very outwardly just like black people are inferior. He was a pretty bad guy.
You know, Italians used to make up like an insane percentage of the crime rate, but like, you know, they were able to get out of poverty. Unfortunately, our country doesn't extend the same olive branch to many other communities. You know, it's like there's so many examples of like concentrated communities like overrepresenting crime. And this is not even to mention the over policing and the fact that black people are way more likely to get falsely convicted or convicted for the same crimes that white people commit and get away with. Regardless of all of that, there are so many historical examples of communities that like were overrepresented in crime statistics that over time through political change were the where it became much less represented in crime statistics. I'm phrasing this so poorly, but and it's just like this country refuses to do anything for black people. You know what I mean? They refuse to reallocate resources to black communities, and the segregation is also a huge problem. Which is, you know, segregation isn't like written in paper, but it's like very much a thing right now. I don't know. I sound like an idiot
We're
white
reaching the
liberal.
point where like I've always done the one of my favorite like silly racially charged jokes to say is like, listen, they're not any worse. I'm just saying maybe they should drink in a different water fountain. But we're more and more actually getting back to that reality. That it's
Yeah,
like scary.
yeah. I don't That was a really poorly executed rant, and I promise I can make that point better when I'm actually thinking about
This
it.
episode's gonna come out and it's gonna be like I can already tell Demigloom's gonna like butcher this episode. Like it's gonna be half the length it was.
Man, I'm not ashamed of anything. It's just I'm just like I'm not that stupid. I can do a better rant than that.
Yeah. I promise I'm not stupid.
There's probably a
Chat,
better rant on there on like the issue crew about the same topic sometime at some point.
probably. Yeah, the old Demigloom was more based, so it probably was better.
What is this old Debbie Gloom shit?
I'm kidding. It's a
No,
joke. Goodness.
you and some other people in my life have used this term, old Debbie. What is old Debbie Gloom? Like just like edgier and
I mean, yeah, I guess. Like you were just like you were slightly less of a woke checker 3 years ago.
I'm not even that much of a woke checker. Like I'm not really like I'm very much a live and let live type of person. Like to the detriment of my reputation in among woke people, you know. People are always like, "How could you hang out with somebody who said the wrong thing?" You know, about this very like specific like you know, like how could you hang out with somebody who agrees with you on like 99.9% of things but had a bad take on this one issue? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. I if I enjoy somebody's company, and I don't feel like me being friends with them is, you know, it's like, how do we expect people to learn if people's thoughts aren't challenged? You know what I mean? If people's
Listen,
opinions aren't challenged.
sometimes you can play tennis with Bowser, okay? Sometimes
Yeah,
just exactly. That's what you do.
it's more like sometimes you could play. I don't know. I'll just try to. Sometimes you could play tennis with like Wario. Is this
Yeah,
better?
okay. Bowser's too far, but Wario
Yeah,
you can play tennis with.
yeah, exactly.
All right,
So
as has become the trans fat experience tradition, now that we're 40 minutes in, let's get to the topic.
we're 11 minutes in. I'm pretty sure.
Wait, what the fuck?
Oh no,
How
we're
long
30.
did we
We're
spend
no, we're
preambling in the
no.
chat?
You're right. We're 30 minutes in. We're 30 minutes in.
Okay.
Um,
Because
do you know?
Discord has this cool new thing now where it shows you how long a call has been. And I knew
Do you
we were in here
know?
for some amount of time, but I knew we weren't for like a half hour.
Do you know why it's called a podcast?
Because it was iPods.
Yeah, dude, isn't that
Yeah, dude.
crazy?
It is
Like they never
crazy.
copyrighted the term, I don't think.
What a
It was like this
fucking missed
cool.
opportunity. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, they could have
I
an app
mean,
just called
they just have a new
Podcasts, and now it's called
name.
Apple Podcasts.
They just have a different name. Nobody would subscribe to the Apple podcast monopoly. They'd just be called like digital radio or something. Like there'd be some new name.
Digito.
Digito? Yeah,
Wait,
there you go.
what would you call a podcast if it wasn't called a podcast? What's another name it could go by?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I feel like something to do with radio, but I don't know what
Something to
exactly
do
would
with
sound
internet.
snappy.
I mean, people might call it internet radio, but everything needs like like three syllable snap or 2 to 3 syllable snappy name, like
Netio?
a Nedio.
Netio?
I mean, it would probably have the word broadcast in it. Maybe like netcast, something
Netcast?
like that.
Yeah.
Net webcast.
Webcast? Well, I mean, that's already a thing.
Yeah, true.
Did anybody use the term webcast besides specifically iCarly, though? I feel like
I
that's
don't
the
think
only
so.
context on which I heard it.
I mean, like, I think isn't that just a stand-in for like YouTube?
Yeah, I think maybe that's what like boomers were calling it in 2007 was webcasts.
Yeah, I don't know. What was the first like podcast you heard?
It was a comedic Pokemon Nuzlocke competition based podcast called Blastburn Radio.
Oh, that was the first one.
Yes. Well, I mean, it was the first one I ever actually got into. I had definitely clicked on a podcast before, but I had never made it more than like 5 minutes in. The medium just did not appeal to me when I was like 13 or whatever. But when I finally did engage with one for real was when I found one of the Blastburn radio hosts on Twitch, because that was how I would spend my days before I discovered the world of podcast, was looking for small enough Pokemon streamers on Twitch that they would pay attention to what I was saying in chat. I would
Yeah,
just so I found one of the Blastburn radio hosts was live. It was doing like a randomizer Nuzlocke, and they explained this whole podcast they were doing to me, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. I literally thought that like podcasts were a thing that existed so that you could fall asleep listening to them. Like I thought that
yeah.
was the purpose of a
I mean,
podcast
it's
back
kind of the
then.
still the purpose.
And but I checked that show out and it was really funny and good. And that got me into the medium. So for a while, for probably like the first like 6 months to a year, my podcast hyperfixation very specifically lived in the realm of like Pokemon and video games and like that sort of genre of podcast, nerd based podcasting was where I got my
Yeah.
start.
You know, I don't really remember what the first podcast I like ever listened to was, because I know it was a medium I knew about. Well, okay, technically, do you remember CNN Student News?
No.
They
Wait.
have
Yes.
they would show it in classrooms.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. It was like fun. We would like it was one of those things we would get really excited. It was like in middle school, it was like either Bill Nye or CNN Student News they would put on if we were on like good behavior. Like it was cool. I think it was really cool. They talked about really important like issues in current events, but you know, in a way that was digestible for a kid. And it was a really good. I think honestly, you know what? I'll say it. I think CNN Student News is what got me into politics. You know what I mean? It was around the uh,
Wow.
it was so it wasn't like it wasn't like during the 2016 election. It was in the year 2015. But that's when everybody was talking about running. You know, like, oh, did you hear Donald Trump is going to be running for president? You know, like that type of shit. And then ISIS. It was like Donald Trump is going to be running for president. ISIS and what was the other thing? Ebola. So ISIS, Ebola, and Donald Trump, and you know, it kept me in the loop in a way that like my parents explaining to me, you know, really couldn't. And it was interesting, like, because you know, we weren't reading the news articles in sixth grade, and it was helpful. And you're probably asking, what does this have to do with podcasts? Well, They had a podcast like version. It was well, they just had CNN
The
Student News.
CNN student podcast.
It was just CNN Student News uploaded as a podcast on Apple Podcasts.
Oh,
So
okay.
technically, that was the first podcast I ever listened to. But the first podcast that I like really got into and like listened to like the whole thing, and like kept in touch with was the Baited podcast. Uh,
You said the
hosted.
buh, and I really thought it was
Oh
gonna be the biggest problem in the universe.
no, no, it was the Baited podcast. So it was in case you guys don't know or remember. Um, Picture like YouTube in 2016. All right, what are people watching? Leafy is here, Keemstar, Rice Gum, fucking Phase Clan shit, uh, Filthy Frank. You know what I mean? It's from that era, and the podcast was hosted by uh, YouTubers Tommy C, who's completely irrelevant and an idiot, and I don't care.
How dare you? How
Uh,
fucking dare you say that about my hero, Tommy C?
Keemstar, who regrettably I was a big fan of, as I found him. What can I say? As a fucking late middle schooler, early high schooler, I found Keemstar entertaining, and I was too stupid to realize that I probably shouldn't be listening to Keemstar. Regardless, oh, and the legendary YouTuber Colossal is Crazy, who infamously got in screaming matches with Keemstar constantly on that podcast.
Some of the funniest thing, maybe one of the funniest arguing pairs in podcast history.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
I don't know if they quite passed Dick and Maddox, but like they're probably the next one I would point to.
they throughout the show genuinely hated each other. Like Dick and Maddox, you could tell that at least some of it was amped up for entertainment purposes, even if they did genuinely hate each other towards the end. But like Keemstar and Colossal were on a whole nother level of like just unfiltered. When I said sorry, what they would literally scream at each other, "You're a fucking idiot! Fuck you! You're the piece of shit! You're the worst fucking friend I've ever had! You can't do shit! You're a worthless piece of shit! Fuck you!" And like one of them would leave the call, like genuinely like leave the call, and then like Tommy C would be like, "Whoa, Keem, we really need to cut that out." And he's like, "Nah, fuck it, it'll be in there." God, and then they'll just be like, "Oh God, I'm just so fucking pissed off." Yeah, well,
Man, it's
and then like they
unfortunate
wouldn't
it
even do
was.
an outro. They would just be like, "All right, guys, that was it. Bye." Like it was just like genuine hatred and argument, and they would scream at the top of their lungs, like waking up the neighbors screaming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that it was post Tommy C because anything for views is a far inferior laugh track. But I think my favorite clip from Baited is the "I'm getting hacked" moment where Keemstar's phone starts playing rap music for what I'm sure is something he did stupidly and boomerly, and he's like, "Dude, somebody's
Yeah,
hacking my phone," and he's like,
yeah,
"You're not getting hacked." And he's like, "I am getting hacked. You don't understand what it's like to be a targeted individual like me, Keemstar."
yes. Somebody's hacking his phone and playing rap music on it. No, and then when Colossal and Tommy C left, what talk about a fucking downgrade in hosts, dude. Replaced it with
Andy
anything Chad,
fucking
anything Reeves, and Andy
Milonakis.
Milonakis of MTV. He had like his own MTV show, and he was in the movie Waiting, which is one of my favorite movies. Uh,
Also, weird business decision. I don't know if this was Keem's decision or if Andy Milonakis made this decision himself, but like when he gets Colossal back and he's like, okay, I either have to fire anything for views or TV's Andy Milonakis. He chose to fire TV's Andy Milonakis, which is I feel like a weird call to me. I don't
I don't
know.
think it was a weird call because Andy Milonakis like didn't he wasn't like an internet he wasn't like invested in like the YouTube commentary stuff. He was just kind of like Keem's like washed up celebrity friend. I don't know, but like Andy Milonakis too. Like fuck, what was I gonna say? Do you know how him and Keemstar met?
No.
They met like way back in the day. So if you remember Keemstar's infamous "fuck this," I'm on blog TV with my
One of my
fucking hands
favorite
up.
clips.
Yeah, the best clip ever. He
I
was
think you get banned in the LCU for bringing that one up.
what's the else? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But so that I don't know if you know the origin story of that. It was a beef that Keemstar had with this guy Alex from this website called battlecam.com, which was like
Battle
basically
Cam.
Do you know about Battlecam?
No.
Okay, so this is
It's
legendary shit.
such a goofy early internet name for a thing.
It's amazing. So it was essential picture like Omegle, okay? Where it's like two
Sure.
strangers talking to each other like on Facecam, but there's a live audience in a chat and there's only one going on at a time. Keemstar from this era, like fuck this, I'm on Blog TV era. Keemstar was on Battlecam with Andy Milonakis. That is how they met. They were just screaming like insults. He was like, "Fuck you! You look like a lesbian Chucky doll, you fat bitch." And then like it was. Oh, sorry, I forgot to explain. Battlecam is like that, and the premise is that they just argue and yell at each other. They
That's
would just fight.
awesome. Wait,
So it's
that's
just a
awesome.
website.
Why don't we have
Yeah,
this
they should
anymore?
they should bring it back. It's awesome. It's just a website where two guys on webcams yell at each other and fight. And there's like a live audience. But like you go to battlecam.com and it's just like one stream. You know what I mean? It's not like a thing where anyone can log on. And he was like a moderate, like they had like anyone could like get in the queue or whatever, but there was always like people who could just go on whenever they wanted, like they had mod, you know what I mean? Like they were like the famous uh community chosen, but whatever. Keemstar
Okay,
like
I thought what this was like Omegle, but for arguing. Okay,
no, it's like
there are
Omegle, but
podcasts that are like this now. Like,
it's like anyone can go on, and it's just like the culture of it was just brutal insults constantly.
that's
So they
awesome.
matched Keemstar and Andy Milonakis, and since that, I think to this day they have like a friendship. What was it? What was it like meeting Keemstar, Riley? For those who don't
It
know,
it was exciting. It was strange. Like a cryptid, like a creature that I didn't even know could exist in the mortal realm, and I could talk to him, but it happened.
was he? I didn't watch the whole thing. Was he like kind to you?
No, he wasn't like being like abjectly mean, but like he was definitely critical of my performance
That's fair.
and
That's fair.
only begrudgingly gave me intern by the end.
Yeah. Well,
Because I
wasn't
had
he
to
kind of
host
handing
the
it out
show
like
for
candy
him
for a
while he
while?
ate. Yeah, that was the thing.
Yeah.
And I had to host the show for him for fucking 10 minutes while he ate some fancy ass breakfast that his wife made for him.
His like 20-year-old wife.
Yeah.
Silly guy, Keemstar.
What a wacky dude. And he like starts genuinely giving me weight loss advice, telling
Yeah.
me about this like AI based calorie tracking app that I
Oh,
should
of
use.
course. Because who else to not be above AI than Keemstar?
Oh, they love AI over there in the LCU.
Yeah.
It's their favorite thing.
Keemstar, like, look, I'm not gonna say Keemstar's a pedophile, okay? People throw that term around like it means absolutely nothing. But dude, why are you dating like? Didn't he meet that girl when she was like 19, or was it
I
20?
mean, it's one of those things where it's like I don't know the story, but it's like they're adults. They seem happy together. I'm not gonna
I
fucking
guess
throw a
it's
fit.
just it's. I'm not gonna throw a fit, but I'm like, it definitely says something about you as a guy when you're like pushing 50 and you're dating. You're like your fiance is 20. It says something about you that you're shallow in a way. Like, okay, we all know what you're looking for. And he had a history, you know what I mean? Like he had a history of this. Like he was pretty much only dating like substantially younger girls, and he was talking about like if you remember 9/11, I won't date you. I'm just like this.
Wow.
It's like a womanizing like cradle robbing kind of tendency that I don't like.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm definitely not hanging out with guys like that. That's for sure.
That's the sort of thing where it's like I feel like I just don't even know what to think about that in general a lot of the time. Like the age gap discourse has become so complicated and
When
it's
you
like
start
I don't
okay,
know.
when you start dating and you realize like when you start dating and you realize what exactly a relationship is like not just like the immediate like clear visible realities of it, but like the emotional parts of it and what it's like to date somebody older, what it's like to date somebody younger. Like you start to realize that there's it's a real thing. It's not just completely. completely inconsequential.
Okay, I mean, fair enough. I guess I don't. Yeah, I obviously don't know enough about it because I haven't. First of all, I haven't dated, and second of all, I don't think I've really been around that crazy of an age gap.
Bro, just learn how to drive, move out of your parents' house, and people will date you, man. I'm telling you, you're not like grotesquely unattractive. Just you could date people, man. Like it's not like out of the realm of possibility. I don't know if you still feel like that, but I've heard you say before. You're like, yeah, nobody would ever date someone like
I
me. It's
mean,
just
it's
like not
like
true.
I say that, and it's obviously an exaggeration, and I've always known that. But like, I think there's a very low chance
I don't think
because
there's a low chance, man.
I
Listen,
think being 400 pounds is just abjectly a very grotesque trait that takes you off the table for a lot of people.
it's not, man. I would date a 400-pound woman straight up. I would.
Okay.
Like, and a lot of people feel that way, straight up. What you got to do, get like, go to like a, don't go to like Supercuts or whatever. Like, actually invest a little bit of money in like a really nice haircut. Maybe, you don't have to be like sharp necessarily, but get a little more stylish and learn how to drive. And then like, you know what I mean? You know, get on a fucking dating app at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that crazy. Like, people, don't get me wrong, like beauty standards and shit is like horrible. People are very often mistreated. But people are a lot they're maybe not people at large, but there are a lot of people who are less shallow than you'd think in terms of stuff like that, superficial stuff like that. I think I think the main concern is like I don't know, people just want like you're interesting, you're funny, you're charming, you're witty. You know what I mean? You got all of that going for you. Just go for it, man. Get a nice haircut, learn to drive. I'm learning how to drive right now. Not nearly as scary or as intimidating as it seems. Straight up.
I, I can pre-transcribe the Redox comment in my head where he's like, Debbie's giving Riley too much credit. He needs to figure it the fuck out.
Redux. Okay, since Redux seemingly dogmatically adheres to everything I say, I'm gonna use this power for good. Be less mean to Riley, please, Redux.
Wow.
Be less mean to
My
Riley.
hero.
And you know what? Also be less mean to Mo, okay? Mo's
I
a very
know
sensitive
but
man.
no, no, no. His hatred for Mo definitely supersedes his love for you. He's not gonna listen to you on that.
That's fair. Getting Mo worked up is really entertaining, I must say.
It really
But
is.
it seems like certain people just get under his skin. Like I feel like I could say nah. If I was that mean to Mo, he'd probably be just as pissed.
You
I think
know.
it's the comments that get Mo worked up. Like reading the comments, you know what I mean? Like when someone says something to his face, he takes it much better because he like sees the personality of the person. You know, has Redux gotten in a call with Mo? Have they like had a fight, like an actual verbal
No.
argument?
Redox like was not in calls for a very long time, and then recently he started calling into my streams sometimes. But at this point, Mo's not gonna go anywhere fucking near him, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
We got to ambush Mo with Redux.
That would be great.
Has anyone?
We'll invite them both to the same episode of this show without telling the other, or
Yeah,
without not telling Mo that Redox is gonna be there. Maybe we can tell Redox Mo's gonna be there.
Redux could just be our pack god. So, so I remember you touched on it briefly in the last episode. Tell me about your first podcast. Like not just like what it was about and like who you did it with. Tell me about like how you recorded it. Like how you realized you could, you know what I mean? Like at what point did you realize I could do this and what did the setup and, you know, events leading up to it look like?
God, I wish I remembered a little better. Like the because that was I think I just used like a voice memo app. Like it was definitely very very extremely low tech.
It was a
I
phone
just
podcast, right?
yeah, exactly. Or I think it might have been a tablet podcast technically.
Oh, tablet podcast. We're really
Yeah,
upping the ante.
really upping the game. But no, I think I just like recorded it with a voice because like I had just gotten into like Blastbird Radio and some of the other podcasts, and I was like, so you just like talk like I don't even have to like play a video game. Also, I could just like say words and upload that, and people will watch that. That's crazy. Well, what could I do a podcast about? And then I decided to do. Sonic cartoons, because one of the other shows I got into around this time was a show called The Morphin Grid, which I'm still a big fan of this day, where two guys named Jake and Josh. And what's funny about Jake and Josh, right, is first of all it obviously rhymes with Drake and Josh.
Yeah,
Second of all, the Josh's name, Josh from Jake and Josh, is Josh Nichols, which is also the name of Josh from Drake and Josh.
that's pretty funny.
It's really funny. But yeah, they just like recap and review every episode of Power Rangers. And they've been doing it for like 12 years at this point. They're really fucking dedicated. And I had just gotten into that show and I was like, what if I do that but with Sonic cartoons? And I
Whoa.
did it once and then I did not commit to it at all. And then I didn't start doing a podcast again until I did podcasts with other people.
What was like the next one? What was the and was it still the tablet setup or did it
Yes. Well, it might have been phone. I don't know when it turned from tablet to phone, but it was mobile for many years. Uh, but there was in RCS We Trust was the next one, which is a weird one to look back on. But that was kind of the toe dipping into doing podcasts with other people. We all met through the Blastburn Radio community. We started our own little Pokemon podcast. Some things happened that were unfortunate.
yeah.
But during that time, I also met Gingy. The first time I met Gingy was he was a fan of an RCS We Trust, and he came on the show as a guest. And we talked afterward for like hours. This is the first time we met. And he was like, you know, I've wanted to start my own podcast about video games, and I was like, bro, let's do it, dog. And that's where Pixels, Polygons, and Fun started, which is where I would define that as the beginning of what is the current Riley podcast universe.
Okay.
Would be Pixels, Polygons, and Fun would be where I define the true kind of start of what I am today.
All right, all right. Was Gingy like already a podcaster at that point?
No, he hadn't been on the internet at all. He just was like a guy who was like into Blastburn Radio and who got into our show and
So
he
you created Gingy.
I created Gingy, yes.
So that
Correct.
whole wait. So not only so I always thought like the mega feed era of Riley podcasts was like the beginning of you creating the universe, but in reality,
No,
the
from the
whole
very fucking start, I was creating guys.
the whole Pixels universe, and then the universes that spawned from that, you are responsible for.
I've created a whole lot of guys, as it turns out. That when you really think about it, when you really get down deep,
So many guys. You're like a guy factory,
with factory guys.
manufacturer of guys. I suppose I'll tell how I started podcasting.
Which is also created by me.
Yes. Um, so I was a YouTuber. Like remember when I talked about like sixth grade, CNN student news, like that era. I at that point I was a quote unquote YouTuber. You know, I started in fifth grade, or maybe the summer between fifth and sixth grade, and then sixth grade is where it like really took off, and throughout all of middle school is when I took like my first YouTube channel seriously. If you want to look up my old videos, the channel's called Davian the Prince, Davian space the space Prince, which is a nickname that my father gave me. Long story short, I uploaded like the occasional gameplay footage, mostly without commentary. Although I started with commentary and then got bullied out of doing commentary because I had
Aw.
a pipsqueak voice. Well, and also like then I started recording like Roblox gameplay on my mom's laptop, and I couldn't like do audio for that. But like my first like real video was like a Minecraft video where it's just me playing Minecraft Pocket Edition on like a screen recorder. By the way, screen recording an Apple device did not used to be easy. Apple, for one reason or
No.
another, no man. Back
Oh
in the day,
yeah.
You had to
Yeah,
like
no, I
download an
remember
app.
this.
You didn't have to jailbreak the device quite, but you had to like go on a website and do like a whole like follow like a whole like basically like piracy process just to download a screen recorder onto your.
Yeah, because iOS didn't allow custom apps. You had to do a bunch of like rigmarole where like
Yeah.
you wouldn't necessarily have to jailbreak it, but you'd have to like get around its security.
Yes. And somehow miraculously as a 10-year-old I broke through the security on my iPad and I got a screen recorder and I'm just like, "Hey guys, welcome to my Minecraft Pocket Edition Let's Play. This is my first video. Well, actually, it's my second video because I recorded a take, but I accidentally deleted it. It's like that type shit, like really cringe. You can hear me like
Have I
touching. I didn't even know where the microphone on my iPad was, so I was like touching it constantly.
have I told you about Roblox suicide?
No, what's
Might be the
that?
funniest thing I've ever made. So I was also a YouTuber when I was a small kid, but like I don't really I just didn't even think to talk about that just because it
Yeah.
was such a stupid little thing. But one of the videos I made, I remember was it was a Roblox video, and when you watch the video, because it's so low resolution, what you actually just see is me standing still for like 2 minutes and then walking off the edge of a cliff.
Oh
And
my
I
God.
remember what it actually was
Don't
I
do it,
was like
Riley.
I was trying to commentate the video through like the Roblox chat, which you just can't read because the resolution's so bad. So I'm doing this whole bit about how I'm gonna kill myself in Roblox,
Oh
and
my God.
it's just there's nothing. It's just me standing there and then walking off an edge, and that's it. That's the
That's
video.
amazing.
It's
The one
called
thing,
Roblox Suicide.
so my
I wonder if
YouTube
that's still
channel,
up. I haven't thought to check. Maybe because it has suicide in the title, it's been
there's a
gotten
lot of
by
videos with
now.
suicide in the title. It's not a
That's true.
rule. But my channel at the time, there was nothing even remotely creative or interesting. Like one of my videos is I had a series called Gaming Mysteries
Oh my
where the
god.
where it's just an iMovie slideshow of Google images from a video game and like the iMovie like default like text on it where I like put like and it's basically me just talking doing like really well known gaming mystery stuff like who is the fierce deity in Majora's Mask or like L is real 2401.
Which L
Um
was real all along. That's we found that out
the
recently.
lesbians were real.
The lesbians were real.
I've been and I think everybody listening knows I'm a rapper. I've been trying to come up with like a bar about L is real 2401. I just think that would be a badass thing to reference in a rap song. You don't know who your hero was. L is real 2401. I don't know. It doesn't really work. But the one genuinely creative thing that I did on there was stop motion.
Oh
Stop.
wow. That has far more artistic value than anything I've done even now. So,
I was really passionate about stop motion animation for a long time, and I've been doing stop motion since I was like 8. I would love to pick it up again, but no, not even 8, like 7. I started doing stop. No, I think no, I was 8 for sure. I was 8 years old, and originally when I made stop motion, what I did was all I had was a digital camera. Um, and what I did was I would just take the pictures. I would like take the pictures of my like toys or Legos or whatever, move them slightly. Like traditional stop motion animation. And what I had to do to play the actual animation was, and this is all lost media now, but there's some really cool shit in there. Um, what I did was I would just go to the gallery in the camera and just mash the next button like a million times, like so fast. And I'm also really good at button mashing in video games. So I'd be like, hey, check out this animation I did. And I would show them my digital camera with a tiny screen and just mash the next button. And it's like my Ninja Turtles action figures like beating each other up. And everybody was like, dude, that's so fucking cool. And then when I got an iPad for Christmas, um, I downloaded all those stop motion apps and it's still this one is still available on YouTube. I made like a 5 minute like Mario stop motion animation because I had like so many like little Mario figures that I bought specifically. I was like, I want to make Mario stop motion. So like for months, I saved up my allowance
I made
and
this
just
really
kept
cool
buying.
channel called Super Mario Logan.
It wasn't plushies. I would go for one reason or another around 20 like 14 through 15. Um Actually I started doing this in this one in like third or fourth grade, but I started like saving up my allowance and all I would buy was Mario toys. And everybody was like, "Why are you buying Mario toys?" I don't understand. Like all you buy is Mario toys. I'm like, "You guys just don't see the vision yet, okay?" And I put together like a bunch of little stop motion animations that were like Mario themed, where it was basically just like Mario levels but creatively done with little Mario figurines. And that's probably still my magnum opus. It was called the series was called Mario Motion, and I'm still kind of proud of it. I'm not proud of it like in the sense that I think it's like genuinely good, but like it was really cool and creative for me to do when I was like 8. You know, I thought it was pretty fun.
Yeah,
That's on that YouTube channel. Go to it's like Davy and the Prince Mario Motion season 1 or some shit. There was never a
season
season two,
one.
but it was dude, the shit was fun. And I made like a trailer too, like showing like little clip. It was like an iMovie trailer, but that had little clips in it, and I was like Mario Motion coming soon. And the upload is called Mario Motion Coming Attraction, because for one reason or another, I thought I called commercials coming attractions, like movie trailers. I didn't even know trailer was a
Coming
word.
attraction.
Because that's what my fucking old ass great grandma would call them. She'd be like, "Oh, I want to go to the movies, but there's so many coming attractions."
Yeah, because it used to like say that before the
Yeah,
commercials. Right? It's like these are the coming attractions.
yeah. So it's Mario Motion coming attraction, and it's an iMovie trailer. But regardless, that's all kind of irrelevant. But like, I had been wanting to do content for a long time, and then eventually, it became like no commentary PS4 Minecraft gameplay, like uploaded directly. Movies I made in like GTA director mode, like clearly the creative downfall of that channel. Um, and then I was just like, all right, fuck this, I'm done. And I basically quit YouTube. And I had a lot of ideas. I had a Pokemon YouTube channel, like specifically Pokemon TCG. There was
Oh,
only
that's
one.
so cool. How have you
There's
never
only
told
one.
me about this?
It was called Team Emerald Pokemon.
Hell yeah.
And I just opened like booster packs. Like, did you ever watch the TCG channels like Unlisted Leaf and stuff like that back in the day?
And like I didn't really watch them enough to know who they are, but like I definitely saw those videos because I was on Pokemon YouTube almost exclusively for a long
Yeah,
time.
it was just like those guys that would just like open up Pokemon. They would get like an elite trainer box, open up the cards, and like if they got an EX or like any kind of rare card, like dubstep music would start playing. They'd be like, "Oh my god, holy shit!" And like I basically did that. I just did like that, but edited an iMovie on an iPad with like terrible lighting in my basement. And that didn't really work out. I don't. I think that's lost media now. But yeah. And then I stopped doing content for a while, but I still existed on the internet. Like I was on Twitter for a while, just like posting about stupid shit, and eventually got
On
like
You were on that incel website. What is that called?
incels. I made one
It's
post on there.
incels.is or
I was
whatever.
like hard trolling in that community so hard, dude. Like I went on there, I went on there and I posted like a really purposely ugly photo of my face, and I was like, "Do you guys think gay men can be incels?" Just like really stupid shit. Um, but eventually, I've been thinking about podcasting for a long time. And around then, I got really into like biggest problem in the universe, the podcast. I listened to a lot of Bumpy Jones podcasts. Um, a
Yeah,
lot of
that was
cool.
kind of because we kind of intersect here. I feel like I can bring that up where that was kind of what brought me into like comedy podcasting versus nerd podcasting was finding Monkey Jones on YouTube and then through Monkey Jones finding Biggest Problem in the Universe, which changed the whole game.
Oh yeah, it's like it was like my sense of humor, the podcast. When I first started,
Yes.
biggest problem. Um, And there's, for those of you who don't know, there's a podcast called The Biggest Problem in the Universe, where the premise is the two hosts each bring in a problem that they have, like it could be any problem, global warming, pedophiles, crossing the street. No, that was one of your problems. I don't know. It's just like it could be minute. It could be like taking a shit after you shower, or it could be like global warming. And they would argue, and then all the viewers would vote for which problem was the biggest, and then in the next episode, they would be like, "Oh, my issue got more votes and I won." That was the premise of the show, and it was extremely funny. And there's a whole lot of drama. I've told this whole story many times on other podcasts. So has Riley. Go look up the biggest problem in the universe, or watch Justin Wang's video about it. It's really good. Um, anyways, very good shit. And found out I found this parody, kind of a parody podcast of it called "The Largest Issue in the Galaxy," where like the humor of the title was that it's like exactly the same thing and it was the same exact premise. But it was like uh, it was this weird guy named Riley hosting it, and this other person named Andrew. Should we get Andrew on this show? That would be fun.
Yes.
But yeah, it was these two people,
Me and
Riley and
Andrew have
Andrew.
been me and Andrew have been doing a lot more stuff together recently, so
That's cool. And it was these two guys named Riley and Andrew, and they were like these young, like internet Zoomers who it was like similar premise, but very much a different perspective. And there were people who I related to more, and I listened to a lot of that podcast. And eventually, I just tweeted like at Riley, I was like, "Yo, you should let me guest on the largest issue in the galaxy," and I did. I brought in did I bring in two? No, I brought in one issue. I brought in the I came in, I brought in the issue of Rule 34, basically talking about how like people sexualize everything to the point where you can't like Google a Pokemon or a My Little Pony character anymore without the first page of Google Images giving you porn, like hardcore vaginal penetration. Um, and it was really fun.
I've talked about the Pichu dicks. That's like
Yeah,
genuine trauma that I have. I think that is trauma. Like I think
me
about that
too.
sometimes, and I'm like, dear fucking god, why did I have to see the Pichu dicks? I can still see them in my mind.
That's what happened with me. I would Google Pokemon that I wanted to draw, or actually, no, it wasn't Pokemon. It was Mario characters. Mario was like I was obsessed with Mario as a kid. Like, that was one of the things. Like, for me, it was like Mario, Ninja Turtles, Ben 10, and maybe a couple of things that I'm forgetting.
Alien X videos.
Alien X for sure. Yeah. And, I would look up like Ben 10 or Mario characters to draw, just as a reference to draw on a school computer or on my iPad, and I would see hardcore porn, and I didn't even know how sex worked yet. So it was I would say it was genuinely horrifying and traumatizing in a way. But anyways, like yeah, that's my problem that I brought in, or my issue that I brought in, and a couple guest spots later, I was basically a full time host, and then it was made official, and yeah, that was like my first podcast was the largest issue of the galaxy. I wasn't a part of it from the beginning, but definitely in its I would say I was definitely a part of its prime.
Yeah, no, I think when people think about largest issue in the galaxy, those first 50 don't even come to mind, or those first 49 rather.
It's
Like
like it's always sunny before Frank shows up.
exactly, yes.
Yeah. And shit. And then after that, me and Riley did a podcast about one of my interests, which was My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, called the Brony Initiation Podcast, where the premise was that I tried to get Riley into My Little Pony and we reviewed it episode by episode. That show was really fun, but why did it die? Did I just quit?
Because you didn't want to watch My Little Pony anymore, which is funny because
Yeah.
the show started with you really wanting me to watch My Little Pony, and then it became Demigloom. We should watch My Little Pony, and you were like, "No, I'm not doing that
I think
anymore."
I like I think I also like turned 18 around that time, and it was just
And
like
you were like, "I'm a real human now. I don't need to
I don't
fucking
know.
do My Little Pony podcast."
I think I just got bored of it, to be honest. I got bored of watching My Little Pony. Yeah.
And then that's the thing is we keep trying to do these TV podcasts, and I feel like they're always good, but we don't have the follow through. Because like I
Yeah,
have
because you
extremely
couldn't
fond
commit to Malcolm in the
memories.
Middle.
Well,
I
that
couldn't commit to My
we
Little
didn't do
Pony.
a episode by episode of Malcolm in the Middle. That was just season reviews.
Yeah, but
I'm
you couldn't
talking
commit to
about
watching season two.
I'm talking about Brody Initiation and Omnitrix Radio specifically.
Yeah.
like episode by episode TV podcasts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I can do TV podcasts anymore.
Yeah, because you just
And
don't
also
have
I
enough
like
time to do that. Because you have to do those often, or else it takes forever.
yeah,
So
exactly. Shit, man. I'm like
I want to do one of those again because Kira's Kingdom was so fucking great that
Curious
like
Kingdom was great. And for those who don't know, Omnitrix Radio was me and Riley's Ben 10 podcast. Uh,
yeah, we
and
should be defining these things. Oops.
yes, and Kira's Kingdom was a podcast Riley did about Death Note with Mo Diggity, who's a important character in this lore.
Yeah, he became a host on Largest Issue the same time you did.
Yeah,
That was the we had two new hosts on episode 50.
it's funny
And
how
then they changed forever.
like after Largest Issue, like right after Largest Issue ended, Ida came back.
Yeah, she showed up
She showed up right.
right at the end.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. This like
Maybe she was
God,
waiting. She knew. She
it's
was like,
like
I don't want to go back on Largest Issue of the Galaxy, at least not more than once.
yeah. Oh, and we should probably mention, just to brag, we got Dick Masterson on the second last episode of Largest Issue in the Galaxy.
Yes, we got him for the big 108.
Yeah. Dick Masterson being one of the hosts of the original Biggest Problem in the Universe. He seemed pretty bored during it. I mean, he
No,
left.
yeah, like obviously we are nowhere near especially back then we were nowhere
Yeah.
near the level of broadcaster quality as Dick Masterson, but like he stuck it out, he engaged. Like
Yeah,
it could have
yeah.
been a
He
lot worse.
entertained us.
Yeah.
But like as soon as our issues were done, he's like, "All right, I'm leaving." Just left. He didn't
Yeah,
even do the
no, that's
outro.
fair.
I don't know. I get it. What was your best guest pull ever? Like who was the best guest you've ever had on a podcast?
I mean, I think it's Dick Masterson. I mean, like
See,
I
I
don't
think it was
know.
Asterios. No,
I don't know.
not the guest who was the best like podcaster you knew, but like which guest like performed the best on one of your
Oh,
shows.
I thought you meant like who was the most famous.
No, 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 no.
Okay. Like I guess like most famous would probably be like Florian or like is Trixie
Florian's
more
not
famous than
famous.
Dick Masterson?
Trixie probably. Not. I met somebody
Yeah,
IRL and I met somebody IRL recently, like a trans woman who makes music, and I just like started like singing like "Not to get action, put your fucking life on the line," and she started singing along, and she was like, "That's one of my favorite albums," and I was like, "Hell yeah!"
let's go.
That's a Trixie song if you didn't remember. I was like, "Damn, okay."
But yeah, Stereos probably or like between Asterios and Trixie probably.
Yeah,
I would
outside of
probably
your
tie
main
that.
cast, obviously, I'm sure you've had like, I'm sure the best moments on your podcasts come from your like closely knit group.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When it comes to celebrity guest, it's probably the tie between Asterios and Trixie, I would say.
Mine was probably that dang dad, the former cop,
Yeah, that was a
now
fucking
police
great
abolitionist.
podcast.
But
That was
it was like
awesome.
a genuine like political discussion about policing in the prison system. It wasn't like comedy. You know what I mean? I'd say the funniest. Who's the funniest guest I've had? I don't know. Um, you know what? Let me check real quick.
Oh, I'll also shout out Crippled Jesus, who unfortunately is like completely missing from the face of the planet now. He was like a Dick Show universe character. We had him on the
Oh,
podcast a
Crippled
couple
Jesus is
times.
gone.
He always killed. Yeah, he's fucking erased. No trace exists.
In terms of guests, the best guests were hands down the middle school GSA guests. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
Mr.
you got some
We got
fucking
Mr. Beat,
Mr. Beat. Yeah.
Marcy Reintgen, who was a very hot story at the time, who I still respect dearly. I wanted to be friends with Marcy Reintgen, like low key, like I wanted to like chat with her and like be internet friends, but like she didn't even follow me back on Twitter.
Aw.
I have a pre-recorded intro from a very famous YouTuber that I haven't. I'm gonna use for a scripted thing. The scripted thing I was talking about. So stay tuned for that. But that'll be the biggest quote unquote guest that I've ever had. But yeah, had some pretty good. Well, I guess Ben Shapiro was the best guest I pulled, but I was a guest. I was a guest on Ben Shapiro. Trying to think, have I ever had a, like a big guest on another show that I did? I guess Chef Bojack is kind of a big guest now. A big
Oh
guy,
yeah,
not
is he
really
like a
big.
guy?
Chef,
Is he
so
a thing?
you might have seen so okay, there was another podcast I did around the Brony initiation era for people who don't know called the Trigger Warning podcast that only lasted for 2 episodes. It was
Yeah, we got
essentially
the intro to that on the last episode of
yeah,
the
I thought
Transatlantic
I thought
Experience.
it would be a fun throwback since we're doing
Little
the VHS
throwback.
thing. But the Trigger Warning podcast was essentially like my political discussion slash debate podcast that was extremely edgy. And the first episode was just a discussion about incels with Heartsy Protsy, who's kind of a guy. um, and then the
He's a
second
little of a
episode,
guy.
then this second episode was this huge debate panel with like a bunch of like groypers and like legitimate like neo Nazis like
I was
basically saying
there.
like exterminate
It
all the
was
Jews.
great.
There was like 13, maybe 15 people on there. But one of them was Chef Bojack. Chef Bojack is a literal Nazi, defender of pedophiles, like one of the sickest motherfuckers on the planet that I've ever spoken to. Um, every single April Fool's Day, he DMs me, "Hey Demigloom, I just wanted to say I accept your gender identity and I see you as a woman." He sends me that. He sent me one time, him and some of his friends spammed me with real photos of black babies with their heads cracked open, leaking blood.
Okay, that's not funny.
Yeah, he thought it was, he thinks like that's this guy's sense of humor. Anyways, this guy has a YouTube channel now called Chef Bojack. Um, and he had a very viral video called Body Language Analysis, The Rizzler and the Costco Guys, where it's just like a ironic body language analysis of the Rizzler and the Costco Guys on the Tonight Show. And he has like I don't know, like 27.6K subscribers. Pretty.
Wow.
He made a EDP 445 documentary that has like 800,000 views or something like that. I'm looking at his channel right now. Yeah, I'm looking at his channel right now. He's got like a couple like pretty big videos that a lot of people have probably seen. But
You see,
yeah,
these people go too far. They'll do things that are like genuinely fun. Like obviously, it's very mean, and you shouldn't be saying these things. You shouldn't be being mean to you about your gender identity. But it's at least kind of a silly, clever premise
yeah.
to send you a message on April Fool's Day every year. Like that's kind of
That
funny.
yeah, it's a little bit funny. Yeah,
But then there's the dead babies, and it's like, okay, now you fucked it up by doing
yeah.
a very unfunny thing.
Just dead black babies with blood leaking out of their head and just spamming the N word. I'm like, okay, cool. You're the type of guy I want to associate with. But yeah, that guy. So that guy was technically a guest on a podcast. Oh, and the main guy I was debating, was named Sponge Bomb Israel Pants, which, if I believed he had any intentions with that username besides being a violent anti-Semite, would be a really funny username. Still is a funny username. It's funny that that is his
It is
username,
the
but he's
funniest username I've ever
yeah,
heard,
but
maybe, is SpongeBob is real fans.
obviously not in a not exactly in a free Palestine sort of way.
Yeah, no. I think the
Not that I
opposite,
think also
actually.
not that I think we should bomb Israel. Just to be clear, it's just a funny username. But yeah, those are the major guests I've pulled. Who did we have? Did we have anyone on Brony initiation that like besides the that really one annoying person?
Wasn't one guy we had on like semi notable in like the incel community?
I don't know. There was the Incel Music Fest, Virgin Fest, like the one of the most notorious
Yes,
like
that's what it
events
was.
in Incel core history. There was a guy on the way driving to Virgin Fest. He called into the
Yes.
podcast while he was driving to Virgin Fest. That's pretty fucking legendary. Uh, yeah, we never had a guest on Omnitrix Radio.
Yeah, no.
Um,
That's weird.
I was on that podcast with Tiffany
I
Richardson,
still
so
think we should do
I can
season
brag about that.
reviews someday, okay? With
Of
a
My Little
we
Pony,
of Ben 10. I guess of
Ben
both, but
10.
more of Ben 10.
Perhaps. Would we do it as Omnitrix Radio?
Yeah, I think we could do auto trick that's like, yeah, we're back. It's a special season review episode. We get like 12 more episodes of Auto Tricks Radio.
I'll never get over the fate of Ellie.
I
or
know.
rather Ellie's fandom. We had want to tell that story?
Yeah, we had a very dedicated. So we did our Omnitrix Radio Ben 10 podcast. So in like I believe it was 2023, I just became a Ben 10 YouTuber for a while. I decided like I just got
Yeah,
really hyper fixated on Ben 10.
you're a Ben
Um
tuber.
and we made a Ben 10 Protector of Earth Let's Play, and then we made the Omnitrix Radio podcast. And Ellie was this person who I think she found us through the Let's Play, and then she also
Yeah.
listened to the podcast. And she would comment like every week to the point where like it was basically like the Ellie comment was a segment on the show.
Yeah, basically we nobody watched the podcast. Like there were a couple like silent viewers, you know what I mean? Like each episode. Let me check right now how many views these all have.
I actually just recently made a podcast playlist for Omnitrix Radio.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, a lot of these episodes have like one of these has 9 views, another one has 14. Like a lot of these episodes didn't even get into the double digits, and very few made it past 30 views. So almost nobody was watching this podcast. But we had this one commenter, Ellie, who commented on literally every single episode we did. And not only did she comment like, I like Ben 10 too, or like lol, or like a typical like comment from someone who didn't really watch the whole like 2 hour fucking podcast. She listened to the whole thing and had notes about like every single topic we discussed. She would comment like, "Oh, this was great. I agree with what you said about blah blah blah, and this was blah blah blah." And it was really cool. And she even sent us some of her like Ben 10 fan art that we put on, and we would read her comment every time. And honestly, her comments were the one thing keeping the show alive at one point.
And then tragedy struck.
And then one day she just stopped commenting. Two episodes went by, no Ellie comment, and then we looked at the old episode comment sections, and all of her comments were gone. And I think her account got deleted. I think she deleted her account. Maybe she lives in a country where YouTube got banned or something. I don't know what happened. Or maybe she got offended by our 9/11 joke. I don't know.
I know she did live in some sort of weird country with weird rules about YouTube because there was an episode that got age restricted because I put fuck in the title.
Yeah.
And then she said she couldn't watch it because age restricted videos on YouTube just like weren't allowed in her country.
Damn. Can I read some of the episode titles
And
for that show?
I
Because
changed the name of the episode for the show, and I think that severely diminished the impact of that episode name. I think it was much better in its previous state.
the episode I think it had our best episode titles was that show by far.
That and like, well, for me, I guess because you weren't a co-host on that show, that and Kira's Kingdom have
Fair.
the
That's
most
true.
banger episode titles.
Episode 1 was called Save Money and Live Better. Oh, it was about the
That's the Walmart tagline,
yeah, no, but
and it's like a
the
grocery
joke
store
was
they're in the
the
first.
j- the joke was Dr. Animo was like gonna attack the Megalomart, or he
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
there's a scene where he like there's a Megalomart commercial, which is a stand-in for Walmart. There's a Megalomart commercial on his TV, and he looks at it like menacingly, and I think your commentary on it was like, "Ah, finally, a place where I could save money and live better." The next one is got any crates? Uh, the Republic. I'm gonna read the rest of these without explaining them. The
Okay.
Republican Omnitrix. We literally time travel. That's a Jason podcast title. Fuck that one.
Wait, what?
Screw
No, I
it.
titled that. That was me.
I know. I'm just saying that's like a Jason ass title.
Well, no,
Spider
the
Trans.
reason it was that is because we realized that the production order and the airing order was different, and
Yeah.
that it was better to do it by production order. So I think we released episodes out of order. Like we like recorded the next one and then we put that one out first because we realized
Eviction, the root of all evil.
Classic. That I think that's one of the most memorable bits from that show is our observation that there are two whole villains in Ben 10 where their origin is they got evicted from their
Yeah.
apartment.
Azimuth versus Hitler, full fight, part 1 out of 9. Ben 10 fans are gonna love this. The Plumber Confederacy, Ben frees the slaves,
That's a
the
good
free
one.
trial of Ghost Freak.
That's one of my
That's
favorites.
this Ghost Freak free trial expired. My life is PG.
And
Double Trouble. Yeah, and that's
then
it.
Double Trouble, which it's unfortunate that was the last one because it's by far the least interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty. I thought those titles were all pretty funny.
Yeah, they're great.
Well, we gotta up our funny title game.
Something about like it's easier to make like joke titles about like TV show. Like I think Megazord Radio's titles are also pretty good. Like something about TV podcast just makes it easy to come up with goofy titles.
Yeah. So we had an idea for a podcast that Riley refuses to do, but I think we should totally do
Oh,
it. We
okay.
talked about it before we started recording. Pod Cranston.
I mean, it's just like I don't know how far we're gonna get.
I mean, how many? Okay, so the premise is we do a podcast where we just talk about uh everything Bryan Cranston has
Literally
been in,
everything
one by
Bryan
one.
Cranston's ever been in.
So I would have to watch that Power Rangers movie.
Yes.
Do you like that
And
movie?
two episodes of old Power Rangers where he voiced monsters.
True, true. But like, how minor of a role are we gonna like? Is like, what if he was like an extra in The Walking Dead? Do we have to watch the entirety of The Walking Dead?
I think if he speaks,
Okay,
it has
okay. If he has
to.
a
And if
speaking role,
if it's a TV show that he's in, it's only the episodes that he's in. If he's not in
okay,
all of them.
okay. So okay, let's say if he speaks or he's clearly on screen. Like, I don't think there's anything where he's clearly on screen that he doesn't
Yeah, I don't
speak
think
in.
there's anything
I
where
don't know
he's
why.
like
I don't know
essentially
why I'm.
featured on screen and does not say anything.
He plays a deaf mute. I don't know if he's ever done that. We should do a podcast for every actor in Breaking Bad.
Pod. Wow, I wish I knew any of the rest of their names. Pod Norris, there you go.
Pod Norris.
Pod Gunn, is it Anna Gunn is Skylar?
Yeah,
Okay.
the Paul cast.
The podcast.
I don't know, man. Well, then
I
you'd
do the
watch.
Aaron
Then you'd have to
Paul.
watch BoJack Horseman.
That's true. I already tried to watch BoJack Horseman for a podcast, and I think you lost it, or maybe it was Jason. No, it was
I
you.
really.
Yeah, it was an episode of Issue Crew movie reviews, and what makes it the most frustrating is it's the only episode of Issue Crew movie reviews I've ever gotten Andrew to come on, and you let
Oh,
the Craig link expire. It was me, Andrew, and Kathy, and we reviewed BoJack Horseman season one, and it was
rookie
lost.
mistake. Rookie mistake. I apologize. What's so? Um, we've established the history now, and obviously we've skipped a few things. But what do you think is like, not necessarily like the highest like scope podcast you've done, but like what podcast do you think is the best one, like quality, like consistent quality wise,
I was about to
like
say because
start to
the
finish?
highest scope one is a pretty wet fart, all things considered. Because the highest scope one is obviously Lolcout Crypt, which did not work out.
Well, by highest scope, I was thinking like the issue crew slash largest issue. You know what I mean? Like the culmination of the whole the culmination of your universe is all stars, you know what I mean? But like I just mean like which podcast do you think is like the best?
The best podcast I've ever
Like the
done.
highest quality. Like when you say like
Highest,
good
I think,
radio, which one
I
had the
think,
best radio consistently?
I think the best, highest quality. I think it would be the MoCast if not for the unfortunate stain of the Kang era.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that did happen, and it was the
You
case
finally
for
took the
like 2 years.
anti-Kang pill.
Yes. I think he could still be fine in short doses, but it's been okay not having him around.
Kang should just leave like voicemails, you know?
Yeah.
Well, like,
But
and the thing too is he doesn't seem like really interested in podcasting. He kind of just wants to like bro out in a call. You know what I mean? He doesn't really care about like the product of the podcast.
that was the thing. I feel like he kind of did it first. Like, cause I always try to figure it out. Cause like I swear to you, I fucking promise. I put my integrity on the line that Keg was good when he first showed up. That's why I was so in his corner because he was. He had it the first couple times he was on the MoCast. And I think once he got comfortable, he like stopped trying to perform and just
Yeah.
started like broing out in VC, and it just didn't
Is
work.
Kang a stoner?
I don't. I think he's not because he lives with his parents and they don't want him to do that.
Oh
If I
shit,
remember
I was smoking
correctly.
hella weed when I lived with my parents.
I mean, me too. Obviously.
You're a grown man. How old is Kang? How
Same
old
age
is
as me.
he?
I think. I think he's
Oh,
also 23.
wasn't he a host of the issue crew at one point?
Yes.
That's unfortunate, bro. You were letting
Yeah.
anybody on that after I left.
Because it was desperate to keep it alive because fucking everyone left. Man, the issue crew is like it's the thing where like it's two separate shows basically in my mind, and
Yeah,
it's like what the issue crew is now is like a solid show that is consistent. I like it. I enjoy doing it, and it's I'm glad that I'm doing it now, but old issue crew like now exists in my mind in the same way that like some other old shows do, where it's like this is a different era and like it kind of feels like things were better back then. And it's like I miss it, the kind of the stuff we were doing back in those days.
I do too. I'm thinking about doing like a demi like so like the issue crew was always issue crew slash largest issue was always intended to be like the Riley All Stars, like the Riley verse All Stars podcast, right?
Yes, that had been a concept that I had always wanted to achieve. Obviously, inspired by the Procrastinators podcast, which I did mean to mention was specifically like I think that was my first ever like specifically like comedy driven podcast was the Procrastinators podcast because I found Mumkey on YouTube and then I found the why was kicked for the PCP video and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he used to be on a podcast? And I checked it out.
I so I've always wanted to do a Demi verse All Stars podcast at this point.
Yeah,
I
you
feel like
you tried to
I've
do the Demi and the Goons show for like a second for
that was like bullshitting. That was just me like testing shit out. That was like an open call show, and that was just me trying to like launder my newfound Breaking Bad Nintendo DS audience
Yeah, yeah,
into
yeah.
the podcast thing, and it didn't really work out. And like most of the I've come to accept the reality that most of the Demi and the Goons audience is like middle and high schoolers, like children.
Yeah.
So it didn't really it's not really a good merging of the worlds. But the problem is like
Have you
if I
come
could okay,
anywhere close to a second monetization payout on Demi and the Goons?
no, that channel got demonetized.
Oh, it got demonetized.
Yeah, so I got like $50 sitting in an AdSense account that I just can't withdraw.
Oh, you didn't even get to pay out?
Nah,
Or no,
man.
you got 100, right?
I got my 100. So I
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
my first payout, and then I made an additional like $58 that I never got to withdraw because, you know, demonetized due to inactivity, which I didn't know was a thing.
Yeah, you would have been cranking out the slop if you knew, if only you
Yeah, if I
knew.
would have known, I should have just stuck to that. Dude, I could have been the next Siva Gunner, man. Whatever, man. So like my problem is like the Demi All Stars podcast. Like the problem is I can't get them all together, right? I can't get, you know what I mean? I would
Yeah,
want Ida and Jason to be a part of it, and they don't want anything to do with you.
correct.
So, and I want you, obviously. I'm not doing it without you. Um, I also would really, you know, purely in terms of creative shit, Felonious Ferris to the mix would be incredible. Squeebo, I would love Squeebo to be a part of it. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? I don't know. Yeah, I would love like that. I would love like Jason, Ida, you, Squeebo, Felonious Ferris, but that's just never gonna happen, unfortunately. So I don't know what like. I don't know. I don't know if I can do like a big ensemble podcast. Like I don't think I have enough strong soldiers because like at this, I mean at this point, like you and Squeebo are the only people I do podcasts with anymore. So I gotta expand. Maybe get some creative folks into podcasting like you do. Um, but like I can't find like IRL friends and shit too. Like they don't want anything to do with this shit. You know what I mean? They don't want nothing to do with this besides Squeebo. So I don't know who's in my like circle right now. Like I have some cheerleaders. Don't get me wrong, but they're
Start
not
a
into like the
podcast with
podcasting.
Tipster.
It's Tippy now. You can't dead name her.
Oh, is that? I didn't realize that was a trans thing. I thought that was just a goofball thing.
I mean, shit. I'll do something with Tippy. I was thinking about inviting Tippy on as a guest and on it, but the I don't want to bitch, but like me and Tippy DM like every day now. Like we're good friends. But
Wait, really?
yeah, we chat. We're
That's
chill.
crazy.
She like texted me like like I just came out to my mom and she was supportive and we had like a conversation about supportive family and stuff. Like it's cool. I did not see that coming. Like it was always a meme because Tippy was like friends with Keffels. That she was gonna take the trans pill. But I didn't think
She
it was
was in
gonna
the
actually
chat.
happen.
She was in the chat of a live stream I was on, and I kind of made fun of her a little bit.
For what?
It was just she it was my buddy Freshy Fresh was streaming. And I guess he joined Tippy's Discord server while he was live, and Tippy just saw he was live streaming and popped into the chat. And of course, like everything stops, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, Tipster!" because she's famous. And I'm like, "Do you think?" I was saying Tipster the whole time. I did not realize this was a trans thing. I thought she
I
was just
actually
like,
don't. I actually don't know that. I was making
here's
a
a
joke.
funny Twitter username that I've made up. But I was like, do you think that Tipster just now lives for when she joins the chat and everybody's like, "Whoa, Tipster."
That's kind of funny. But like, I mean, her YouTube channel went downhill like crazy. But like, what the fuck did she do? Like, she didn't. What did she do? I mean, obviously now be trans, be
Which I
affiliated with
didn't know.
Keffels.
I think I said he during that too. Now I feel bad. I didn't
Uh,
even know she was trans.
well, the I think she came out very recently.
I
I'm not
actually
sure. We started talking again
just
very
today I
recently.
saw that there was a trans flag in her Twitter account and she was posting like a selfie where she was looking kind of feminine and I was like, "Oh, shit. I didn't know."
Yeah, it caught me by surprise too. I found out recently because I hadn't really talked to her in a long time, but when she came out as trans, we started talking more. Yeah, I would love to get her on as like a guest on this show or TPG. I mean, would you talk to her?
Yeah, she's both
Cool.
at the same time, so she's perfect.
Fair, fair. I'm
Trans
both at
and
the same.
fat.
I'm both at the same time, but like
You're
I
not fat.
my weight fluctuates. Okay, like I would say I lost like 25 pounds in the last 2 months. But like I would say maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I was like a fat person. Like just barely. Like some people would call me a fat person, other people wouldn't. And now I'm like just chubby again. But like I was a fat person for a while, for a little bit.
You
But
had a
that might
fat
be
arc.
yeah, I had a fat arc, binge eating arc. Yeah, man. Like I don't know. Like I don't have a lot of like content creators in my circle right now.
Yeah, that's kind of my problem is I feel like I used to have a very solid stable of people who just like were down to do anything at any time. And it was very easy to be like, I have an idea. I'm gonna go to these people and we're gonna do it. And it would
Yeah.
happen and it wouldn't be a big deal. And now that's like fucking impossible.
We all grew
Like
up, man. We all got
I have my
jobs.
show I have my shows where we have our time slots, and if I ever want to do anything outside of that, it's like impossible to make happen.
Yeah, it's true.
Even with the time, you'll only do this every other week. God damn you!
Yeah. We're probably gonna have to change the day too, or do it to
Oh
the morning.
no,
I got a new job, but I still want to do
fun.
this, so we'll work it out.
We could do it in the morning. Sunday morning is. I don't think I have anything going on Sunday mornings.
Cool, cool.
It's Saturday
Cute,
mornings we do
cute.
Big Guy Little Guy. So,
Well, shit. We're
but
about
what
good.
I just before I figured I was gonna get we were gonna get the hook out pretty soon.
Yeah.
But what podcast are you kind of? Well, first of all, I feel like there's one podcast because like I've gone on about biggest problem of the universe plenty, so I don't have to. But there's one podcast that I know you are really into and kind of is. I feel like maybe defining to your humor and podcast experience that I don't even think we've brought up at all that I'd like to hear you talk about a little bit.
What? Oh, Come Town?
Yeah.
I didn't get into Come Town until like this year or last year now
Wait,
because it's
really?
2026. Yeah, no, man. I'm surprised because
What?
it's like I mean it's a lot more it's the sense of humor is more I would say quite a bit more edgy and like random than my sense of humor. But it's incredibly hilarious. And, you know, it's over now, but yeah, I mean, it's great. It's really funny. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. The hosts are fucking incredible. They both, well,
They both.
two of them went on to do great things. Stav has his, you know, I mean, he's got his new podcast, which is still pretty good, but not nearly as good as Come Town. But he's doing like
And
great stand-up
also
comedy.
stars in like movies and shit.
Yeah. He's in Tires with the Shane Gillis's Netflix show, which is really good. Yeah, I mean, he's doing great things. The Adam Friedland show is great. That's really the only podcast that I'm like really keeping up with. I've been listening more to
I
like
actually started the
video
Adam
essays and
Friedland
stuff.
show. I'm a little bit behind now, but I've listened to like 5 episodes
Oh
and it's
shit, you
pretty
like it?
good. Yeah. I
It's pretty
think
funny.
I think I probably would have liked it better before Nick Mullen left, but
Oh, 100%.
yeah, like I've because
Nick Mullet is really funny. He added a lot to it.
I've heard Nick Mullen in other places on other shows and like yeah,
Well,
he's pretty funny.
he's not really doing the podcast anymore. Adam Friedland's not really doing the podcast anymore. It's like a talk show now, which is great. It's a great talk show. It's just the podcast was really funny too, and I wish they still did it. They had a Come Town
Yeah.
reunion on Stav's podcast pretty recently. That was
Oh,
pretty
did they?
good. Yeah, like the boys are
For,
still
yeah,
chilling
for
and
some
hanging
reason I
out.
thought they like weren't cool. Like
No, no, they're cool. They're
Stav with the
cool.
rest of them.
Stav is just like not super interested in like working with them. Like he loves them and he respects them. It's just like he's doing other shit now.
Yeah, he's moved
He's like
on.
he's more in like the like stand-up comedy world and they're more in like the internet comedy world if that makes sense.
Yeah. But no, I gotta go
Yeah.
back and check out Come Town. It's one of those shows that like I've just always heard is amazing, and I just
It's
never
pretty good.
interacted with at all
It's like completely
until I.
unedited, at least at the beginning, and kind of hard to get through sometimes. It's like, dude, like they're just like totally fucking around. Like there's some Kang type shit going on in there, but like it kind of adds to the charm, the fact that it's a prestigious podcast and there's just like total bullshit in it.
What's fun is it took me getting exposed to Come Town guys like 2 different times for me to even realize who they were. Because like
Oh, say
I'd heard Nick Mullen on Jim Norton's podcast, and I don't think he mentioned Cumtown once, and I didn't even know he was from Cumtown. And then I listened to an episode of Dan Soder's podcast with Stavros on it, where I don't think they mentioned Cumtown. And then I heard, and then when I finally put it together was on an episode of Is It Kino about a movie that Stavros is in. Monkey and Eggy talked about the Cumtown lore, and I was like, "Wait a minute! Let stop that guy who was on Dan Soder's podcast and Nick Mullen, that
yeah,
guy who was on Jim Norton's, but that's Cumtown. Those
yeah,
guys? Oh
yeah.
shit!"
Pretty silly stuff.
So what podcast do you listen to now? Just the Adam Friedland show, or
Yeah, I've been like getting more into video essays like Wendigoon, you know the YouTuber Wendigoon. He has a podcast
mm,
feed where it's just his I mean his videos are all like hour like you can listen to his videos as a podcast and he has it as a podcast feed. So I listen to that a lot. So I don't know if that counts. What other I mean I'm not really listening to podcasts right now. I should probably get back into them. It's just like one of those things where it's like I'm like really listening to the same things over and over again, you know? Not like the same episode, but like I'm like Do you ever get that where like with YouTubers or podcasts or whatever, you're kind of just listening to one or two and like you're not really branching out? You're just like you think like, ah, should I listen to this new thing? And it's like, nah, I'm just gonna stick with what I know I really like.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been guilty of that before, but more recently I've been trying to expand my horizons. Like that's my I've been listening to a lot of comedian podcasts has been my new
Yeah.
thing. I'm listening to a lot of Jim Norton Can't Save You, a lot of We Might Be Drunk with Mark Normand and Sam Morril. That's a very good show. They had
Mark Norman is
they,
like
they had the
really funny.
Rizzler on recently. It was really goofy.
Mark Norman is like really funny 50% of the time, and then the other 50% of the time he's just like George Floyd.
But just that his
It's like
voice sounds like that also makes that funny.
I don't know. I don't know, man. He's like, whoa, you're kind of kneeling on my neck right now, like George Floyd. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. It's not funny.
And then I
Just
will
being an
say
asshole.
my new comedian podcaster who I think is just like my favorite guy in the world now is fucking Dan Soder, bro.
Oh
I
yeah,
am a ride or die now for the Soder podcast. I
he's
fucking
great.
love Dan
He's
Soder.
one of the first guests on Cumtown. He's on like episode 4 of Cumtown.
Oh, really?
Yeah, back when Cumtown got like 30 views on every episode.
But
So is
what I
Jim
did find
Norton is too.
interesting,
I don't know if you knew that.
yeah,
Jim Norton is also like one of the first guests on Cumtown.
yeah, I knew they were all cool with those guys. I didn't know.
I didn't know how woke Jim Norton was
Yeah,
until
he's got
like
a trans
recently. He's got a
wife.
trans wife who's probably like beating him up and lecturing him. Like I had no idea that I just assumed he was like a right wing asshole because he came out of the Opie and Anthony sphere.
Because he's well, I mean, despite everything, he's still friends with Anthony Cumia, so he's not the perfect woke
Yeah.
man.
Well, what are you gonna do? People, you can't get some people you just can't convince to not have horrible friends. It's whatever.
That was a meta joke, everybody. Thank you for coming.
No, but it's like, how far are we gonna take guilty by association though? Because like I've been guilty by association before. You know, like I don't know,
I think
whatever.
almost
It's
all of
like
us at this point. I think of like the people, like the famous people who we've crossed paths with, and I'm like, we're all at least 2 degrees of separation from something very bad.
I am 1 degree of separation from Netanyahu. So you know, Ben Shapiro, Netanyahu, yada yada.
Of course, of course.
Well, this has been an
I've,
episode.
This has been an episode. I'm sorry, I was gonna say one last show, and then you said this has been
Oh
an
yeah, no,
episode.
go ahead, go ahead.
It was Dan Soder's other podcast, The Regs, with Bobby Kelly and Joe List and Luis J Gomez. That might be like that might be biggest problem level to me. It's kind of similar vibes too. Not in terms of the argue that actually not at all, but just in terms of like the kind of style of comedic banter, and like
Yeah,
also they do like group ad reads, which I listen, pre-recorded solo ad reads are the fucking death of comedy podcast, okay? Nobody's gonna listen to your
yeah,
fucking pre-recorded solo ad reads, but when it's group shows and they're doing the ad reads together and they're riffing on the ad reads, I like it. I never skip those. Like the ad reads on Biggest Problem are like some of my fondest memories of Biggest Problem. Like they'd
yeah.
always transition to them in very funny ways. They found ways to make them funny.
If I
And
ever got a
that's
sponsorship, that's how I would do it.
yeah, you gotta work the sponsor in and make it fun. That's how you make people actually listen about sponsors. Cause like I feel like now podcast sponsors like people are almost never buying the podcast sponsor shit, but like I remember Biggest Problem, like people were buying Harry's razors, people were buying Casper mattresses because of Biggest Problem and like sending in voicemails about it and fucking like people were actually listening because the ads
Yeah,
were like charming and fun.
I'll say Stavros's podcast has some of the best ad reads. He's because basically his entire podcast is sponsored by Twisted Tea, and he what he does is he has like voicemail plays voicemails from viewers, and where they describe like situations, and he Stav gives them advice on how they could keep it twisted. And it's just funny. He's like, "This is how you could keep it twisted." He's like, "Bro, that was not twisted. You need a twisted tea right now. Go to the website for 50% off or whatever." I don't know. That did not sound funny the way I described it, but trust me, it is.
I gotta check out Stavros's show.
Watch one with a guest that you know and like. If you watch an episode of his show with a guest that you don't know, it's like not funny.
That's fair.
That's not necessarily true, but it's harder to watch.
I'm sure a lot of my people have been on there. The
Yeah,
probably close to all of them. So
yeah. All right, now it's been a show. Now it
yeah,
is. This has been an episode. What's your message to the youth who want to start podcasts?
do it. Fuck it.
Do it.
Don't hesitate. Don't think too much about it. Just
As Dark
fucking
Sapo would say, do it.
do it.
Do it, Demigloom.
Semi crew. Can
I'm
we
so
get him
mad
on
that
the show? What happened to him?
he's dead or something. I don't know. He's gone.
Oh, tragic.
He's on my album though.
Oh wow, really?
It's
Well,
just yeah, it's
fucking
just
how
this.
a testament to how long this fucking album took you. The Dark Zappos
I
on
actually
it.
decided to add the Dark Sapo interlude fairly close to the album's release. So, all right,
You still live rent free in our heads to this day, Dark Zappo. You did it. You were a successful
start a
troll.
podcast. Start a podcast, everybody. Get your friend. Okay, if you have other people who are invested in podcasts and want to take it seriously, do it. Straight up, do it. Don't worry too much about the quality at first. You know what I mean? Just get people because like if there's one lesson to be learned from me and Riley's podcast story, it's that the memories are more important than the views, like by far. Like I would say that some of my oh god, this just sounds so stupid, but like some of my happiest memories are recording podcasts with Riley and the gang, straight up.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
100%. It's fun. It's great. Do it. And if you don't want to do a podcast, just like get a group of internet, just talk to people. VC, hit that Discord voice chat, man. It's fun.
For sure. Talk
All
to
right.
people. Be social with people you enjoy.
Yeah. True. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I have been the trans.
And I've been the fat.
Bye.